Okay, so today is the 1st of October in Sydney, Australia on Henry Street, Leichhardt, and I'm going to go straight outside through the door, straight away, without too much ado, and I think that we have the Matrix plane coming overhead, I think, or do we? Or is it around? We have the people going opposite in straight away, see? Straight away, pulled right in as soon as I come out, within 2 seconds. How do they even know how to do it? That is how quick the Matrix is. This is a Matrix. Look, the same two that pulled in, the same lot that pulled in, last night in fact. But I didn't put that out because I might still put it out. I'll put the date on things. But because it was very quiet last night, the Matrix out here, and there were no planes, and there were no planes. There were no planes, but it still had the same car pulling in, even though I was later when I actually come out, because I just only do this once a day, maybe even less than that, but I'm trying to show a pattern, so I'm trying to do it regularly as opposed to, that way it shows a pattern that every time you come out, because I only come out once a day. Well, I usually come out twice a day, okay? In the past, I only come out of my house usually once a day. I would go out and get my groceries or something. Here we have motorbike pulling in as well. What is that about? Into the house as well. Motorbike pulling in. It's obviously delivery, of course, but that makes no difference. Matrix is going to go into that house down there. Doesn't matter where it goes, but it's opposite about 2 doors down. But either way, as soon as I come out, this is a Matrix, because every time I come out, a car pulls opposite in front in that house. You've seen it now in a couple of videos, and I have not staged this or done anything except randomly come out of my door at any time I choose. Tonight, as you can see, it is after dark. Motorbikes leaving. After dark, there is a moon up there. It is the 1st of October and there is a full moon now. I think that's almost a full moon up there. Is it coming out? I'll try to push it up. I know it's pathetical. There you go, that's interesting, a full moon anyway. And we have the lights on tonight. Instead of having one light on in number 1 and number 2, which is next door, we have that light on, number 2 and number 1. They've both got their lights on tonight. Does that prove a Matrix? Well, not really, but it's something, isn't it? Look, I know it's something. I know it's a Matrix. But either way, what are the chances that I, just on spec, once every night or every day, because I only get the mobile out for this one purpose usually. Well, sometimes I'll check it upstairs. I'll leave it upstairs, right? And sometimes I'll check it to see if there's a message or, whatever. Or to see if the video's been... Doesn't matter, but either way, I only grab the mobile and bring it outside my door once a day or night. Once in 24 hours. Maybe even less than that if I don't have the energy, which I really don't have anyway, but, I'm forcing myself because even I can step outside and film. But the point is, they've got their light on in front too, see? Because don't forget that's the front of your house. So actually, normally in the past, most people would not put their front lights on until they went to bed. It's a little bit early for bed. Last night I was later, but I intended to go outside and I ended up filming the rage against whatever. Here we have another car coming in. Where is it going to go? Oh, there's Zane the cat under the car. There we have, very obligingly. Not sure if I'm getting that in, but very obliging to pull right in front. Is this a matrix? Across the road, in front, neighbours on either side usually. Whatever time I decide to come out makes no difference, It will be someone just waiting for them to go down the side. See, that car pulled up in front and down the side. We have the cars always going up, down the side. So it's always in front, across the other side of the road, or the neighbours on either side, or within the vicinity of about 6 houses just around me. There will always be a car pulling in no matter what time I step outside. Or one going up the side, which, just right next to me here. Same thing. In other words, it's always a matrix all around. Am I making any sense here? Now here is Putty is waiting outside patiently on the seat out here, waiting to come inside. It's a little bit chilly tonight, even though it's the 1st of October, so the weather should be starting to warm up a bit. But it ain't. And that is Putty, and I'm just car is leaving. Car is leaving. Obviously I don't like being too conspicuous. It is very difficult for me coming out here and filming, I have to say that. I'm getting the hang of it, kind of getting used to it, but I am still quite uncomfortable. It's not something that I'm comfortable doing. Actually, it's getting quite chilly out here too. But you see, what I'm trying to say is this too, is that it doesn't matter why a car pulls up. If you think it's a matrix, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the purpose of that car pulling up. It doesn't matter if it's a neighbour. I'm saying that if they always pull in or pull out around you as soon as you come out, that is a synchronized matrix or some form of a system like that. when I say matrix, obviously that implies a technologically controlled Earth. But if you want to just take it at a local level, as I would have done in the old days, and what I originally just noticed when the matrix opened up, to where you notice that there are activity, unnatural activity of cars and people, pedestrians, etc. around you from the start. And you know that there is some sort of a community patrol force operating, and you wonder what's behind it, but you still think you live in a natural world. You can still do that if you are of that mind. I've said this many, many, many times in videos, because whichever way you look at it, you are looking at a world now, or a reality, even at a local level, a community level, because it is a community, because they are all combined, they are all connected, they are all synchronized to pull in and out at specific times when a human being comes outside or on the scene. Of course, there are many other negative elements to this community reality, or the matrix, depending on how far you want to take it. But you should take it to the highest level, because it is a matrix and it is at a high level, which you realise, as the dog is indicating by his banging around in there. Whenever you hear a loud noise or see something that rings true for you, that is what you call, as I've said before, this synchronicity. But it simply means a matrix, or the reality around you, acknowledging back to you that something is so. And when you become that's the dog getting up, but he's having difficulties. But because the matrix has brought him to a low level now, because he's outlived his usefulness. Putty would probably tell you this, and even the dog would too, but he's not allowed to be in the videos. But you see, once again, I'm getting sidetracked from concentrating by, this reality around me now. Whereas you once thought that you lived in a relatively quiet suburb, now becomes almost like, to where you're aware that there are negative forces around you. So it's a different reality. It's like, I don't like to use strong words, because I like to make subtle videos. But when I say that, all is not what it seems. I don't think we're going to get any planes tonight at all, or at least not till probably after I either turn the mobile off or a fair bit later. The Matrix has a little problem, I've noticed, and their problem is this, is that they are a covert, hiding, hidden, secret force, negative force for human beings, if you happen to be a human being, that likes to remain in the dark and likes to keep you in the dark. But once you are no longer in the dark, then the matrix comes down and exposes itself. That's kind of how it is, if you want to put it very much in a nutshell, as they say, or bluntly. Now, but the matrix cannot refrain from showing itself for too long. See, even I'm standing here now. I'm a bit cold, so that helps. And, I think I can hear next door banging a bit. But, it's just like that, because they are not living their lives. None of these people around here are living their lives inside any of these houses, any of them here, with all their lights on. You know, they pretend. See, all their garbage tins are out tonight because it's garbage night tonight. They're all piled up with their little goody garbage because they've got to look after this real natural earth, even though they themselves are using technology and are possessed by technological beings. Interesting. That is my garbage. I haven't put it out yet. I must remember to put it out. I'm all on my own there, and that's certainly true. Apart from Putty, even though Putty is also a possessed cat, as we realise, but we don't like to emphasise that too much, do we, Putty? Putty also likes to play in the Matrix and play as a real little cat. He's so reminiscent of my original big boy that most of the time even I play. Because I can't accept the hard reality that our original cats were disposed of. And we don't know all the real details either. And maybe the Matrix knows. No, a car pulling out opposite, not quite opposite, but next door to opposite, so pretty close. We will see the Matrix. They can't resist it. They have to show themselves. Am I getting it out on the mobile? Because I don't want to stand out too far onto the street there, even though I should, but in we go. Having a little bit of trouble getting out. I know I'm being funny here. I'm trying to make the videos interesting. But there's nothing funny about any of it. You know. But maybe if I had someone who understood a bit, I could laugh. But when you're on your own, it's a bit... Yeah, well, see, there we have that. Is that a Matrix car or not? Look at the antics. Watch the antics. Watch the unnatural behaviour of that car. He's pulled out with his lights on. He was going to go out. Pulled out with his lights on. Now he has pulled back in with his lights on and stopped there, blinked the lights once, and is not going anywhere. He's just going to stay there and sit in the car. Oh, wait on. I think he's going back into the house. That is Matrix behaviour. That is just them being told to do that. Turn the light off. See, is this coming out on the mobile? That is Matrix antics. See, he did an irrational act. He come out, got into his car, turned the engine on, turned the lights on, pulled out about 10 feet as though he was going to leave, then pulled back in, blinked the lights on, and then stopped the car and went back inside his house. Now we have more Matrix people. They're going to put on a show tonight for you, which is rather considerate of them, because otherwise I'm freezing out here, you know. But there is a plane somewhere too, but I can't see it. I can hear plane noise. Oh, they've just come out the house and are just going to walk down and get into one of their many Matrix cars. Look how many people these cars own. Or at least how many look how many cars these people own or drive. Do they own them all, or are they Matrix cars on the street ready for them to get into and just pull in and out and drive away? Because look, they pulled in there before and now these people are pulling out. Of course, he's walking away with the mobile. But, you know, this is Matrix stuff. Am I getting this in or not? I'm trying to get it in. I'm here, by the way. Oh, I better put my head out of that. But that's like this house opposite. So you've got two cars, one that's pulled in and now one that's pulling out with their door open, by the way. You notice how I pointed how they like to leave their car door open? Now she's pulled it, or whoever's pulled it shut, I don't know. They are going now. I should have this round the right way. I haven't got it round the right way. But they are going. I don't know if I got that in because I can't see what I'm filming because I've got it round the wrong way. I was intending to put it round the right way when I first come out, but if I do, that means I can't talk into it. You can't see me, and I think that it might get a bit boring if I just focus. Well, it's probably just as boring looking at me, but at the same time, there's Putty. Putty! He can't talk to you today because he's sitting on the seat there, and I need to bring him into the kitchen to where you can have a little chat with the little possessed cat. Put your head up, big boy, if you are a possessed cat. Come on, just give some indication for those watching. That's if you're coming out even. You didn't see it, did you? But I saw it. He moved his little mouth there. Very slightly. It won't come out probably on the thing, but he showed you. You know, if it was in the kitchen, you'd probably see it, because don't forget that they don't have to make, when you can read the animal, it only has to be very slight. But I can read it like a book because I've been doing it now for about a year with the cat. At least I think it's a year. You know, I know I've been doing it with the dog since 3.5 years. 3 years and 9 months, to be exact. I can't believe I'm still here in a matrix, you know, when it has turned so negative, to actually still be here after 3 years and 9 months. And I'm not sure that some of us are supposed to even be, in the sense that, you know, this is why I come to my conclusions, or my way of looking at you know, a spiritual human being even, was because the amount of negativity that has been levelled against some human beings in these dying stages of a matrix, that's putting it dramatically, but even if you don't want to say the dying stages of a matrix, there is still so much being levelled against single human beings who apparently do very little in this real reality at any real level. You know, that was the only way that I come to my own way of looking at it, because I'm like, there would be no reason for all this, you know, opposition to insignificant, non-productive, non-active human beings, you know, at a local level or at any level in this reality. And I'm trying to put it fancy here, but I just mean just in my existence, or the other human beings that may be in the same position. And, you know, I'm only aware of one, but there, well, maybe, no, a few, but I'm only really familiar with one, but they're probably in more significant numbers than what we're aware of, because many will not know what's going on, as I didn't for quite a bit of a time. But once I realised some things, then I kept looking for more reasons to explain the reality. There's definitely planes around. Can you hear that? Oh, it's going through the tree, and it is going to go past the moon. Have a look. This is entertaining for me tonight, if nothing else. Will it come out on the mobile? Did the plane pass the moon? It's too small, but it did come through that tree, the plane, over the top of that tree, which is just almost above me, across the close to the moon, and now it's going way over there. That's an unusual manoeuvre for a plane. There's hardly any planes in comparison to before, but just over the last few days, the few that I've seen, apart from those that have followed me down the road, there has been, like, while I'm standing here, I have seen very few, apart from these ones that are coming like this one in strange patterns around, and they're small planes too. Doesn't matter, but there was some bigger ones that did go over me, which of course I'm not filming, when I went down to the shops, which is kind of strange because normally they stick to a fairly good pattern they have over the last few years, even though even I still have wondered on occasion, despite what Matrix people tell me, or those that like to uphold the facade of this false world, who like to uphold, even if they see something that doesn't quite fit, they'll say, no, that is the flight path. And that is why you are seeing the same planes that you see over your roof also going over you when you go further over or something like this. They will say, no, that's still the flight path, even though you yourself will think, I don't know. But of course I don't really know. But like I say, in this reality, I wonder if that'd come out over the moon there. If you had like something that was closer, it would be at least interesting. But it wasn't a big plane anyway. It was only a very small plane. I just saw it going through the top of the tree there. You know, the big tree that's right in front of the place there. See, the one that I used to show if the wind's blowing up or if the god entity's angry. You know. But this is not going to be filmed very well. You know, I keep saying I'm going to try to hold the camera straight and look carefully, but see, I'm holding it the wrong way round. And you know, like last night when I came out here, it was very, very late because I got way behind because I got held up by Matrix disruptions, to say the least. But so I just still took I didn't take the camera, but when I decided to go down here, down the street, and remember how I say there's always a car down there with its headlights on. Usually the headlights are quite strong, so they will, you'll see the light halfway down the street. In other words, it'll light up the footpath or the road or whatever. Now, last night I got really tricked, but they must have been, you know, the Matrix people sometimes like to play, because I actually walked halfway down and thought, this is really good because there isn't a car on the street. And then I got just past halfway down and all of a sudden, you know, I jumped out of my skin because I'm hit with these headlights of the car that's just further down, but it was out of sight from here, you see. So I was deluded into thinking that for once I was going to be able to walk down my street late of a night without seeing a car there sitting with its headlights on. But that was delusion, yeah, because and actually it then had a double effect because I was lulled into thinking that maybe tonight I wasn't going to see a car till I got down to the park. Even then you're still going to see it, but it was just still a temporary relief for a few seconds, but not for long. Oh, it is actually quite cold out here. I might have to go inside. You know, I should like to, I'm not going to, I could theoretically take this mobile if the weather was warmer. Maybe when the weather warms up, I might have more, you know, when I say, but, you know, like maybe in a month or two when the weather's warmer at this time of night, I might, but I probably won't, because I don't like to take the mobile past, you know, in fact, I don't even like to bring it outside, but that's why I got the camcorder. But unfortunately, I can't get anyone to just get it going, even though it's almost ready to go. There's nothing wrong with it. It's got its. But either way, that's like the computer. That's like live streaming and all these things. It's not just the Matrix that controls things, but because you can't get Matrix people or psychopathic people that should, you know, because you're looking at slight appearances on this very street here. I would like to ask the cat that. Actually, he's already moving. And this is just I was just thinking this about an hour or two ago before I brought the mobile. I was going to ask the cat, even though of course it's all play games. I know that, but I could just openly just say in a video what I think about the numbers of psychopaths, for instance, that are on a local street, if you know what I mean. I could probably guess that myself, fairly accurately. It's certainly, like it might even be easier to say, forget the number of actual, because you'd have to say how many people are in each house. How many houses are on a particular street? How many people are in each house? So, I'm just trying to be mathematical here, and I'm not actually. I'm very poor at maths, but I try to extend myself a little bit just over the last few months. Now, I was just looking. There is actually probably a car lurking down there with lights on. It'll get me if I go down there later. If I walk down to that corner, there will be a car, because you can see that there's a bit of light down there. That implies that there's car lights somewhere hitting the car, because actually the street lights shouldn't bounce off the cars quite like that. And this is actually quite a dark street once you go in the middle part of it. It's not. I've always said it needs an extra street light. Of course, when I said an extra street light, I didn't mean all the lights that the Matrix has been flashing at me over the last few years, or the car lights that are extra bright and also they put a light, which I could actually show you if I walked just down to the corner. They only did this about 2 months ago. Might even be less than that. Oh, here we have a car coming in. I'm just going to put it to the back of me. Where is it coming? I saw something happening. What was that? Oh, there we go. Yeah, there it is. See, there's a car pulling out down there. See how you can always see the lights, you see. That's another thing too, because they have fairly bright lights on the cars now. Even when a car pulls out just a few doors down, I can see the lights of it here. So you'll have that. Oh, there's a plane over there. They're coming in, but not going out now, you see. So I can't get out. I'm not sure how many people can actually come in. It's probably just cargo or something. Or maybe it's only special Matrix people that are allowed to come in and out. Oh, that was a bit naughty of me, wasn't it? But it may well be true. My sense of humour might seem a little bit naughty at times. But believe you me, my sense of humour leaves me most of the time, but I do try to make light of a reality that has very little light. That was clever of me, wasn't it? I'm not sure if the Matrix will like that, but it's the best I can do. These things just come to you. Nothing comes to those of the Matrix. Nothing comes to the technological beings of the Matrix. The only thing that comes to them is what they get from you and me, and then it comes to them through us, and then they are the wit of the world, because they are not really, technological beings do not laugh at things. They only laugh at us. They only laugh at human beings. There's a light coming off the car. See, all these, what I was trying to say in a previous video, and this has occurred to me for quite a while now, almost a few years, because what I am trying to say is that the mistake we make, you see how they make you look foolish because they bang bends and things around, and then I'm looking away, so I look as though I don't know what I'm doing. But that's only because I'm distracted by the noise, you see, even though you probably can't hear it. Not loud noises, but you still, if you're a human being, you notice if someone bangs something around, you just automatically look. You're really not supposed to do that at this time because it's all part of the distractions. But at any rate, where was I? There is a plane going over there, but you cannot see it. It is a speck. It is the tiniest plane. I can see it with my naked eye because, one, I notice things, and the Matrix knows that, but that plane is so tiny, even my naked eye can barely pick it up. But if you see a moving light in the sky, that is some sort of moving flying device, isn't it? Has to be. Some, on the other hand, see, it is moving. It's moving over the house, but no point in me showing you because it definitely won't come out on the mobile, but it must be the tiniest plane that's going over the house opposite in front of me there. I would put it on the mobile, but I know it won't come out. Even that plane probably won't come out that went through the tree and went past below the moon there, even though it was under the light of the moon. But I'd have to look at the video myself later to see if that comes out or not. But I don't expect it to. A light just come on in the house opposite too, but I'm not going to put the phone round to show. I know there's already a light on there, but there's actually a light coming through the window. I mean, these are not Matrix people. Supposedly opposite, at least the young fella that was in the video, made the point that not in collusion with anything around or anything. And this is just not true, because their actions show by their pulling in and out every time you come out that they, are total Matrix people. They may not have always been Matrix people. They've been here a long, long time, as long as me and longer. But, but people change, and also, when you have a different generation, like you have young ones coming up and you have the old ones pass on, which is what did happen over in that house, then you have a different generation. So they're not going to be the same people, even though they might be related in the same house. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I'm just trying to fill in the video by chatting. Big Boy's turned his back on me, look. He's curled up on that seat. I should have took the bottle of whatever away. He said he's up on all the cleaning, the worldwide cleaning too. He said he's got his bottle of cleaner there. He said he didn't bother to clean the seat. Being witty, and he's in amongst a flower there, or not a flower, a plant, which I still haven't found a spot for. And here we have, where is this car going to go? It won't pull in front, surely. No, it's not going to pull in front. It's going to pull in just down there. Which is not far. Where is that plane coming from? I can hear it. I don't know where it's coming from. I can hear the planes making a noise, but I don't know where they are. I can't see them, which is kind of strange, which is unusual. Normally you see them. Can you hear that? Here comes another Matrix car. One pulled in just over there, as you can see opposite. And here we have another one. Oh, it's a bike, actually. Matrix bike. Matrix bike. Because if you actually look at it, you've seen two Matrix bike, but that actually shows that most people are getting deliveries now too. Of course, like I say, that's the plausible explanation. But of course, that could also be so. Matrix people get food delivered free. Matrix people get food delivered free when the Matrix says that the bike should arrive, if you want to look at it that way. You see, so it's not like they're not really delivering something. They are. But it's the fact that they are delivered when the Matrix tells that item to be delivered, so that it is on the street at a given time. Part of the community kind of matrix system, which is like a program, really. I'm just trying to use words because I'm making the video, and I could be blunt about it and just say that they're just, it's a bit like saying, oh, someone is hassling you, or someone is provoking you but not touching you. Do you say they're a bully? Do you say they're this or that? But, the matrix is... Matrix is a parasite on humans, a leech on humans, a bully on humans. If you want to use mean, blunt words, but if you are a technological being that is of the matrix, see there's a light on that house up there and movement inside it. See, can you see? I don't know if that means anything. It makes it look as though I'm the one watching. Yeah. But I only come out here once to do this, to show that this is what I encounter every day or every night whenever I step outside. And, if you go further than this quiet dead-end street, you will have much more scope for the matrix to come into full swing. Because then you have the prospect of bringing in more vehicles, more noise. Well, not so much even more noise. More noise of a different sort, but, as you can see, well, you can't see, but, if I relate my experience over the last year and a half on this street at a noise level, which I've tried to point out in the videos and even randomly mention it to the, apparent residents around here who seem to be completely oblivious to noise, because they're the matrix, you see. They are of the matrix, so they don't focus on the noise because they're too busy focusing on their matrix activities. And by that, I don't mean that they're living their life. No, because they are focusing on the human being who is being hassled and brought down and stressed and even physically, that fella's just coming to go out, I think. See, they pulled in before there with the car, but now I'm not sure if he's going to pull in or out or what, but he's there playing around. But he hasn't got his lights on, so I'll give him, so I shall leave him alone. I'm only going to show you a car if it puts its lights on. Because in the past, you wouldn't have people using their car lights or sitting in their cars with their car lights on. Most people in the past, in the past, I mean in the old world. When I say the old world, I mean in the past, before a certain period of time. In my case, before 3.5 years ago, or 3 years and 9 months ago. Yes, he's just come in and out for nothing, that fella over there, but I'm not even going to put the camera around, but he's in that place next to there, just over there. So that's just past opposite. And, I should have kept the camera on. But, they're just enjoying me doing this too, so I shouldn't really oblige them too much. But, I almost feel stupid, to be honest. I feel stupid in this reality, and yet it's not me that's doing the stupidity. It's them that's doing what appears to be normal activities, like I look stupid filming people driving in and out around me on the street or coming out of their house, fiddling with their car and then going back inside. But all I'm saying is these are things that you didn't see very much in the old world. or in the past, before, in my case, before 3 years and 9 months. You didn't see, you saw a little bit, because I think the matrix was obviously there then, but it was not opened up. It was not deciding to close in on particular human beings. This is because of the time and because of various things, as I've said. I'm talking too fast here, but I'm having trouble holding the mobile too. But I'm cold out here too. I should be inside if I'm going to ramble. But as you can see, cars just, it makes me look stupid in the sense that if you see a few cars pull in around you when you come out, but it's the fact that it's every time you come out, every day of the week. If it was just occasionally, there would be no evidence for any sort of program matrix. No proof at all of some sort of system that people are following at a local level even. But because it's every time you come out. Now, they play possum because obviously if I wasn't filming, there might be more activity on the street because I have noticed this. See, now that I've got the mobile out, they have to do it. They still can't resist it because they can't leave it quiet for too long or without the visuals coming into you for very long, I think. This was pointed out, and it's so true. I've noticed that. In fact, I've often wondered how they do it because it's like, because like particularly when you're out and you really are endeavouring to try to find a little bit of peace of mind and make the best of a negative reality because you're forcing yourself because you say, hey, I'm not going to let this reality and these people get on top of me. Another car coming down. Where will it go? Light on. See, notice how the light that was flickering in the last video, that's going in the house down the bottom there, up the side. Now, notice how that light, is it coming out? See, the light on the house is now not flickering. Remember how it was going on and off to draw the attention to it a few nights ago in the video? It seems to have righted itself all right now. It's just on permanently now, see? Because why they leave it on permanently down there is to another thing too. Like in the old reality, it's actually gone off. My mistake. I didn't even see that myself. Is that coming out on the video? Like it was on there the whole time and now they've turned it off because I'm talking about it. They're playing with me. Can you see that? It went off when I focused because I haven't concentrated on that light because usually they just leave it on. But now they've turned it off now that I mentioned it. Is that some sort of proof that the street and the people are playing? See, the light is gone off. I'm sure it'll come out on the video. But it was the same light that was playing on and off and on and off in a video a few nights ago where I focused on it. There's a plane somewhere. Can you hear the plane? See, no light at all. And that's gone off too in that house there. They've turned the light on up there, but it's off, I mean. They're just trying to be silly, I think. Because I look silly doing this, I know. And I feel stupid doing it. You shouldn't have to be doing this. Is the moon up there? Is it coming out? I'm not sure. I'm not getting it very well. There are planes lurking around here. We have the car pulling in over there, but it's not going to come out because it just went behind that car that's parked in front there. But I saw it go in. I'm just focusing on the moon. Maybe they don't like me focusing on the moon, I don't know. But I'm just going to hold it up to the moon. There are planes around, but you can't see them. But I can hear them. Probably not coming out on the mobile. Doesn't matter. Not relevant, I don't think, but just pointing it out. I just wonder where they are. I can't see them, but I can hear them. That sky is clearing. That sky is clearing. It is actually clearing. See, there's a few clouds, not coming out I don't think, but it's clearing. Try to get it up closer. Is that a good moon or not? I've seen better. You know, sometimes they have a kind of halo which looks kind of pretty. I've always been fascinated, not with the moon, but when I used to take photos about 5-6 years ago, you know, when I had a kind of broken little old camera, but I used to take a few photos around. It filled in time when I went around, because I used to walk around a bit more then. I won't go into details why or whatever, but I hadn't noticed the local area much because I used to always just stick to the basic same route. So I went to a few different places, just locally even, and took photos. And I was particularly used to like to get the moon into the photos when it was full moon if I could. And I do actually have a few photos where I've got the full moon in, but unfortunately, as you know, in a photo a moon only looks like a little ball. So what I thought was impressive with my naked eye didn't always make a great photo, but I still used to try to do that. I don't know why. Maybe the Matrix didn't like me focusing on some of these things, which I just did accidentally without, because I was not aware of a Matrix then at all. I just thought that if you're taking a photo, why not get the sun or the moon in, because it adds an extra thing. And sunrise and sunset is always the best time to take any photo because it looks good. And if I can get those photos up, I am going to show you a few things. But of course the Matrix is deliberately stopping me from getting my old photos. Like I've got I've probably got a couple of 100 photos just locally round, and of the animals too, that I took 5-6 years ago when I had the little camera before it broke down completely on me, because the Matrix didn't like me taking the photos. I realise that now. But I still got many photos and they are there, but I can't get them to show you on the TV. I can't look at them myself because, the technology is being used so that I can't show the photos. That's what I think. And I noticed that straight away because I mentioned this before. But if I can get some of those photos somehow, if I can get someone to help me to bring those photos to where I can look at them, and I could even show you, there might be a few interesting things that I could show in those photos now. Those photos that I took just for my own satisfaction of showing a pleasant scene, or what I thought was a pleasant scene, or even just a few photos of Big Boy Cat, just because I liked him and thought, you like to have photos of things, because you know that one day you might want to look back on a few photos, particularly when the animal's no longer there. My Big Boy Cat is no longer there. You'd say, well, what is that is sitting on your seat that you call Big Boy and that you feed the same as Big Boy? Look at him lifting his head. What is that? What is that? What are you, Big Boy? Where is real Big Boy? Where's the original Big Boy? You're not an offspring, are you? No. You look as though you are, but you're not, because that's not possible. But maybe my little photos would prove something, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? They prove it to me anyway. It's just a matter of how clear they would be for someone else looking. And they'd have to take a good look at you too, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Perhaps I better leave the cat alone. We're focused too much on the cat. Until I can get those photos up, I got nothing. But I don't need the photos, I know it. I've seen the photos too. Not that I needed the photos, Oh, the car's pulling out finally opposite there. Couldn't resist it. Well, come on then, let's go. That's right, we'll leave the door open, lurk around for a little while. My mistake, not going. But does like to come out and fiddle in the car, in the cold, and then go back inside. But, it's a free world, ha ha ha, for some. So, that person can do that. Like I say, everything is really only about comparison. So everything I point out here is about comparison with before, the old world, the old earth, but also in comparison with yesterday and the day before. Because like I say, it's not about, and that's the only way that you can show a type of system around you. And why is the system around people? What is the purpose of it? This system that's around people, or some people, or at least to where some people are aware of it, it's probably around everyone, or at least around all real human beings, but it's a question of how aware you are of it, or how much it shows itself or exposes itself, as they say. It's like anything, isn't it? See, even the cat has exposed itself to me now. But for quite a long time, I was in the dark. And I'm going inside because I'm just getting too cold here. But you have seen a few cars, and you've seen the usual cars. This is my point, is to show the usual cars, or, from when you come out. And they don't seem to be able to resist showing that even, which is interesting. And I'm folding up. There probably will be instant activity of some sort as soon as I push the mobile off. This is to be expected, because you can't film 24/7. So I'm just trying to show that I randomly come out the door, that I don't know what is going to be out here when I open that door. And yet the same thing always happens, or similar thing happens. It's never like a quiet dead-end street where you would have, say, a certain period of time without a car pulling into the street, which would probably be normal in the old world and normal on a quiet street, I would imagine. Obviously, it's not going to always be like that, but particularly after dark, you don't get. And you notice that we had mainly deliveries here too, so people aren't exactly like myself going out after dark to get some foodstuffs or something, I don't have a car. I should really, when I can, if I can, take this mobile if I can't get the camcorder up and running, which seems I'm losing heart with that. There's the car pulling out that pulled in over there. See, it's only like opposite. It's next to the church, which the church is like on the other side. Obviously, it's dark, so it's hard to see. But that car's just pulled out. So you are looking at cars around pulling in and out. But either way, I was just going to say that one night I should like. Oh, my hand is sore. I'm having trouble holding the mobile there. Just take you down to the corner there, down to the end of the dead end, and show you the highway behind the dead end. It's a highway that was built a few years ago now, and show you the traffic on it, and just see what you make of that traffic. Okay, so we have a Matrix car pulling in. They're certainly pulling in on that other side a lot there. I must go in. I'm getting too cold to even film this, but I was just going to say that I will take you. There we go, very obliging too, pulling right opposite in front almost there. I thought they were actually going to go down and just come back or find another spot. But see, this is just showing Matrix collaboration all round, openly really, if you really think about it. But either way, I'm going to focus down here, forget about them for a second, and let them go inside. They're opposite. Once again, all opposite. Places all opposite, all Matrix controlled people. I don't even know who they are, but they go into the houses, so I assume they live there, even though they often look unrecognisable and different. But I don't study them, so I really don't know what they look like. But I do for even the cars. Somehow all seem different. Do they get different cars all the time or something? I don't know, because I should really keep track of these things, but of course I've never done this, and I can't do it. It's a bit like taking a number plate, so that you know if a car is the same car. I pointed that out in a previous video where it's just a joke because they just laugh. But if I went down there, I'd like to show that highway and show the traffic. And particularly in the daytime, it is worth observing for a few points that I would like to prove or show. Can't prove it, but show, and you can come to your own conclusion. But it's certainly what I know, to show the traffic and show points that indicate a matrix or a collaboration, that this is not natural traffic, not normal natural traffic, because I don't think any of it is. It should be. And also you must remember, and I'm going to make this point before I fold out, and I've only become aware of this quite recently. I've had the City Westlink digging up the street outside of here. Not City Westlink, no, the City Westlink, my mistake. It doesn't matter, I'm using names and I'm talking to people from overseas, so it doesn't matter. But in recent times, over the last year, and even though I was not aware of this, because I don't keep up with local or city events or activities or construction, okay? I really don't. I never have. This is a mistake probably. But in the city of Sydney, we now have an underground tunnel system, or an underground tunnel road system, which I only realised, like 8 months ago, 9 months ago. Full awareness of it. I'd heard about these things, but I didn't realise that it is now pretty much complete. So we have an underground tunnel system under the city of Sydney now that is like an underground traffic tunnel system under all of Sydney. So it's actually quite big, I would imagine. And it is meant to take the traffic from up here on the roads, or like if I go round onto Norton Street, and particularly if you go onto Parramatta Road, which is one of your main roads, it is meant to take the traffic off that Parramatta Road and take it underground, you could say. So what I would like to show, and what I intended to with the camcorder, was to take you onto Parramatta Road and just look at the traffic, and look at the traffic even down here, and see whether you think that whether there is a lessening of traffic when they have built an underground total tunnel traffic system underground, under Sydney. Because I'm not noticing less traffic. I'm no traffic expert, but I would actually say myself that there is more traffic on Parramatta Road. It was always busy, but I know what I'm talking about here. You know, like I really do, because I used to walk along that road every day. You know, for the last, 20 years at least. 25 probably, it'd be closer to it. But in more recent times, over the last, 6-8 years, almost every day, I would see Parramatta Road. So I should know what the traffic is like. And this is at different times too, because I often don't tend to go out at the same time. That's why these videos, like tonight, you are looking at an after dark view of Henry Street, But there we have it. I'm going to fold up now. But all I'm going to say is that I don't think that there is less traffic on that Parramatta Road. And yet that is what they have spent enormous effort, enormous time, and probably enormous funds, I would imagine, to build a total, which I was not aware of, underneath. And I've mentioned this. Obviously, I actually don't like things like that, because I'm old-fashioned and like to keep things the same and only a little bit of progress, if it's necessary. But also I'm saying, is it serving that purpose? Or are these matrix cars? That's the point that I'm trying to get at. This is what I'm going to try to show, but it would still be up to people to decide whether there's validity to my point about it. But either way, I'm just trying to show a systematic matrix. So, and I think it does show that, because it is possible that these tunnels that have been built all under Sydney, and I believe it covers most of Sydney. I believe it's vast. I had no idea. I thought it was just a small thing. So that means that it really should effectively take a lot of traffic off the Sydney roads. So that means that if I think there is more traffic on the roads where I go, because obviously I'm not on every road on Sydney, and I'm not there 24 hours a day, that is showing, or trying to show, a matrix. Because if, when I go down a busy road that should have less traffic but now has more, that means a matrix is opening up around human beings, doesn't it? Well, to show some evidence of it anyway. And certainly there's something not so much even wrong, but it really means that, what they say about a road being, an underground tunnel system being built to alleviate and remove traffic from a busy road. But if that busy road has got not less traffic on it but more, that proves that the road system is ineffective and false at the very least, or did not work, and that they've wasted a lot of time and effort for absolutely nothing, not to mention all the, but that's at the very least. But either way, I'm folding up because I've gone on too long and I don't know what I'm talking about. And Putty has gone to sleep on the seat. And it's getting very cold out here, and I shouldn't be out here in the cold. Putty is fine because cats regulate their temperature, and he's got a very fluffy coat, which is quite thick actually. Much fluffier than my original Big Boy's coat. And Big Boy also was whiter. That is something I did notice and I know. And see how he moved? Big Boy was whiter. This cat is more smoky on top, if you want to use the right word. He's got the white chest like Big Boy. Big Boy had a beautiful big white chest. And he did have a slight smokiness along on the top of him. But this cat is much more smoky, much more darker overall. And the markings on the top of the head, I think these are all soft and muted. Big Boy's was more distinct. Everything was clearer on the Big Boy, more defined. This cat is soft and muted. Is that the right word? Muted means like muffled, not clear. You know what I mean? And that's a major difference, which I have noticed, and I did notice even quite a while ago. I'm going in. Good night, Matrix Street. I might come out again later. If it's not too cold, I might even have to. But it is cold and I have got way behind. I've hardly seen much daylight even today. I got way behind. The Matrix put me right behind. But, oh jeez, I feel as though I'm wide-eyed there. I actually feel that myself almost, which is strange. I better fold up. I'm losing a bit of time here making the video. I don't mind doing that, but then I do get behind. You know, even I still have to do some things, and I am actually kind of quite disturbed, you know. This is not it's not a comfortable existence for those of us, and I know that it's not comfortable for others either. The Matrix hits each person in a different way, you know, according to what you're doing and your circumstances and how it can slow you down or cause you discomfort. And what it can basically get away with in a way, because the Matrix, you know, will get away with as much as, not what you allow, but what it really can get away with. And sometimes that can be quite a lot, despite appearances. See, I'm going to fold up there now. That looks like a quiet street. But we have seen the cars pulling in. See, that actually looks almost quiet there now. All the garbage tins are out, and you can hear the bit of noise from the highway that's just down on the corner there. That's why I say I'd like to take the mobile down. It's not far down. It's only like really a few doors really in a way to the end of the street there, the dead end, and just take you through to the highway and show you the traffic there. Now if I film that, most people would probably say, well, it's a highway, this and that. And also I'm not real familiar with that highway as much as Parramatta Road. With Parramatta Road I see a distinct change. And also I know that if there should be less traffic on it and there's more. But down here, I don't go down there as much. But I could still show you that you have perhaps aggressive traffic. I would say that the traffic now, the cars and those that drive the cars and the vehicles, there is an aggressiveness there that was not there despite heavy traffic. In other words, you could have a busy road with a lot of cars and even trucks and buses, but they are not driving these vehicles the same way. and they are not moving at the same speed even. Like the buses are moving much faster. That's something that I cannot prove, but I know for a fact that the buses, I'm coming into the kitchen here now and I will have to fold up, but the buses that used to be around here, you know, we've always had a fairly good bus service. The bus depot is just down the corner here. All these things I cannot prove, but I know to be true because I've lived here for a very long time. So I know about the bus depot, I know about the buses, I know how they used to operate only a few years ago. And I know that the buses did not travel as fast. In fact, the only time that the buses travelled really fast or revved up their engine or that type of thing was when it was very late of a night and there was very little traffic on the main Parramatta Road and they didn't have to pull up at every stop, because buses locally around here have to pull up at every bus stop usually. They're not even doing that now. So they can't go fast because every bus stop is only like half a block, you know. And that's a change. And I've got to fold up because my hand is can't hold the mobile any longer.